Hello. It's episode 5 and I'm super duper excited. This is the last episode in the marriage series. The very first marriage series of Without Fear with me, Eakia, Carmona. And I'm really happy that you're here. I've got a special guest for you today, and I'm really excited to be able to share this person's perspective with you. So I want to jump right into the introduction, and what is going to happen is our special guest is just going to give us their perspective on marriage, since that's what we've been talking about. That's the running theme here. We've been talking about marriage, mindset in marriage, ways to navigate within the marriage and improve within your marriage. And hopefully this new perspective can give us some new insights and some new clarity on what it means to be married and how to continue successfully being so. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you my very dear husband, Papo Carmona.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, the pleasure's mine. Okay, so we've been married 3.5 years now. Mm-hmm. We've laughed a lot together, learned a lot together.
Cried a lot together.
Definitely cried a lot together. So with all the experiences that we've had and everything we know now, looking back from day one, what's the one thing you wish you had known before you got married?
Well, I thought of that question a lot here in the last couple of days, and I guess the main thing I wish somebody would have told me was that people change, you know? Your spouse changes, evolves, and that's all right, you know? I wish somebody would have told me. That's the main thing probably.
Yeah, we tend to go into relationships thinking that the person we know right now is gonna be exactly the same for years and years to come, and you're right, we don't really take into account that people change over the span of their lives. And we change too. So with people changing, perspectives do change a lot too. And I know that when you and I first got married, you had a completely different look at marriage than you have now. So how has your perspective changed on marriage in the last 3.5 years that you've been experiencing it?
That's changed a great deal. I mean, you know, I went from not believing in marriage because I didn't have good examples of it, you know, anywhere, to completely buying in, you know, and it's changed drastically. You know, I believe in marriage now. I believe in love. That's something I never believed in either. So yeah, it changed dramatically and over the last 3.5 years.
Yeah, that's super interesting. You know, a lot of times people, until you really find yourself immersed in something, you really don't know what your perspective may be or can become on something. So that's really interesting, and thank you for sharing that. But I did want to ask you, especially knowing the experiences that you've had in marriage, knowing where you're trying to go in marriage, and the work that you're putting in your marriage, because I'm here with you. If you could give one piece of advice to all men who are aspiring to be husbands someday, or who find themselves now as a husband and need some guidance, what is the advice that you would give these men to help them be successful in their marriage?
Well, to find a good therapist or some type of counseling. It should be like a prerequisite to marriage, you know? You should be... See, I know you don't like that word, but prerequisite. I'm Puerto Rican, but yeah, it should be a prerequisite to marriage. To have someone you can confide in and talk with, because you're not always gonna agree with your wife, and she's not always gonna agree with you, and that's all right too. But you don't know the damage you've been done until you know the damage you've been done. So. Yeah, get a good counselor for men. Yeah, we grow up learning, you know, men don't deal in their emotion, men don't cry, men don't, you know, do certain things, and those boys become men that actually practice it in, counseling. I would have a good friend or a counselor.
No. Strong advice from the strongest man I know. Well, thank you so much for being on my podcast. It has been an absolute pleasure to have an opportunity just to share your perspective and hear how you feel and your thoughts on marriage. And definitely look forward to seeing you here with us again on other topics. As you know, we're going to be heading to other series and other topics. And you have a really unique perspective on a lot of things. So definitely won't be the last time we're seeing you.
Okay.
I hope.
I look forward.
Any closing remarks?
No, that's pretty much it. Thank you for having me again, and see them later then.
Thanks, babe.
All right.
I really want to just show my appreciation for you all showing support for the podcast. These are the first 5 of a very many podcast episodes to come. And in order to show my appreciation, I wanted to leave you all with a compilation of what I believe to be very accurate thoughts that I've had on the subject of marriage. And I hope that they are helpful to you. Hopefully it's a good resource that can help you in the future, and I want you to enjoy. Thank you so much for listening today. Here are my accurate thoughts on marriage. Okay, if you are spending all of your time thinking about all of the things that are not the way that you want them to be in your marriage, it's going to be very, very hard for you to ever get the things that you want. It is my strong belief that the quickest way for you to get to a happier marriage is going to be through creating a happier inside. Marriages are a lot like rivers. Ever changing. You can look out at the water as it passes and know that with every second, the water is changing and becoming anew. And that's very similar to how relationships and people in general are. And so when you have that kind of understanding, it really helps you to have more patience when you see things changing. Pour into each other. I mean, just pour into each other. But you also have to pour into yourself. That is the key. If you're pouring into someone else or something else and you're not pouring into yourself, then one day you're going to look up and you're going to be empty. You cannot uplift someone else in a relationship if you are beating yourself to the ground behind the scenes. Hey there, friend. If you're interested in starting your own podcast, Anchor is the easiest way to go. It's going to give you everything you need in one place, and it's free. You can use it right from your phone or computer. The creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great and professional. They distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere, like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can make money from your podcast easily with no minimum leadership. So if you're interested in starting one of your own, download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR.FM. Have a good one. Bye. Thank you so much for listening today and checking out our 5-episode marriage series Without Fear, featuring your host, me, Eakia, Carmona. And today, a special guest. So if you haven't heard the previous podcast, definitely check those out wherever podcasts are listened to. If you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so that you always get great content from me. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day. I cannot wait to return with the announcement of our new series. So that's going to be really exciting. Keep an eye out for that. And I look forward to talking with you tomorrow. Thanks again. Bye.